Bingo. Week 16 comes with a lot of fun and consequence. We're a week to Christmas. We're in the fantasy football semifinals. If you're lucky enough to be there, I'm not in any of my leagues. I don't know if my guest, the fantasy expert Andy McNamara, is, but we got a lot of football to talk about. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, Griff. I'm in one semifinal. I'm defending champion in that league. Got a first round bye. That's it. 6 leagues, won. Just a melee, a disaster in so many different ways for my different fantasy teams. From injuries, well, mainly injuries, to just underperformers. Just, I'll tell you, man. I went bold, and sometimes you go bold, you come up, you roll snake eyes. I went heavy. O'Marion, Hampton, Ashton Giente combos, my friend. Heavy. And, well, we know that the poor Ashton Giente can't even make it to the line of scrimmage without being ambushed because of his bad offensive line. And Hampton missed half the year with injuries. So, there you have it.
Yeah, there you have it. Because like the way I look at that stuff is just there's always those rookies. You're like everyone's like, oh, this is going to be the next big thing. This is going to be the next big one. I always kind of look at it as like, you got to kind of be careful to where you choose. But I think as I'm going to go through it, I'm going to go like as we go through each game, I'm also going to put a little note in of players from that team who either I feel confident in going forward from a fantasy perspective, or a player who I'm not going to touch again. Like I don't know if it's I still think it's too early to name an MVP, but I already do have an idea for next year who like I would probably if I had like a top 3 pick of who I would take already.
Okay. And to be honest, I probably, it being second year, we know running backs is one of those positions where you can be a day one fantasy star. Depending if the offensive lineup improves somewhat with the Raiders, I got to say, I probably would still go with that combo. Like, I still really like the players. I really like the talent. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's still like I'm not saying it's anything bad. I'm just saying, it's the general hey, you think you got it all, you think you got the secret sauce, and I'm not trying to
Yeah.
dog you. I'm just saying a lot of people do this with rookies where they expect them to come out and perform and be these immediate impact players. Like look at a Marvin Harrison Jr., look at Kyle Pitts, look at hell now someone who I really like this year, but a Bijan Robinson. His first couple seasons, they didn't know how to use him properly. Now he's a star. So where you get those odd cases though where they are a day one starter. Like I do think going into next year, even coming off the actually I'll wait for it for when the team comes up. There's one player I already know who is a day one starter who wasn't a round 1 pick. But tonight we have a game that's got quite a lot of fantasy implications and playoff implications.
Sure does.
And I know Devontae Adams is out, and I know Puka Nacua is Puka Nacua. But if you have JSN on your roster, I think you're going to be smiling quite well tonight because he's been having he'll have these lulls in the season, but then he'll have a couple games where he just pops. And I don't know why, but tonight just kind of feels like that kind of game for him.
I think you're right there. And I'll tell you this, you mentioned Devontae Adams out, and I said it on my show, The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara, up now on YouTube and on X at Sick Pod Browns at AndyMC81, Instagram at AndyMC Sports.
Sunday mornings at 10 a.m.
Sunday mornings as well, 10 a.m., my friend. You got it, baby. I know you're in the chat. Griff's my guy. He's like, he's either on the show or like chat co-host. I love it.
Yes.
Colby Parkinson was my top ad. Colby freaking Parkinson is going to win someone the fantasy night this evening. I'm telling you, for the LA Rams, with Devontae Adams out, we saw the usage jump significantly last week, hitting 24.5 fantasy points, week before 12.2. And here's the best part. End zone targets, you betcha. He has touchdowns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in the last 6 weeks, 2 in the last game. Light that sucker up without Devontae Adams.
Yeah, the way I look at it too is the fact as well, like because everyone's going to go heavy on Puka. Like I called this on American Thanksgiving, where it was that Lions-Packers game. Jameer Gibbs went cuckoo against the Giants, and everyone was, he's going to go off. He's going to do this. And I was just like, Jameson Williams. I'm like, that was the player to watch, and he was the one who went off that day. So I think with the Adams injury, everyone's going to be so heavily invested in Puka Nacua to where even from a betting perspective, Colby Parkinson is a perfect person. If you need someone to add, because he's probably going to be available on the waiver wire, or he probably would be that great ad that, hey, for a year where the tight end position's really been in flux with injuries and just weird performances, you want to go and try to find that diamond in the rough. It's the literal definition of a tight end.
Yeah, well, the thing is, anytime Tutty for Parkinson tonight, give me that. But when I did the show and released it Tuesday night, Parkinson was owned in 5% of Yahoo leagues. Now he is 31% rostered. So people know, but he's still widely available. So like I'm saying, like if you need a flex, if you need a tight end, whatever the case might be, this is a nice add-on.
Yes, and also I'm looking into it right now. Colby Parkinson, anytime touchdown is plus 190 right now.
Oh yeah, give me that all day. But yeah, he's been getting the touches, man, and without Devontae Adams, makes perfect sense.
If you want to go anytime, if you want to go first, plus 1,500.
Dude, well, I don't know if I'd be that frisky. I don't know if it'd be that frisky yet, but the anytime for sure. Even the first and last ones, that's such a degen, and I'm here for it. Don't get me wrong, but that is such a degen bet. That is
I would do like a little $2 special, like a little retro.
little
I'm gonna go
sprinkle.
retro here. A little KFC Toonie Tuesday for
Oh,
Canadians out there. You know,
all
like
right.
a $2 to win you this. Like I'm not gonna go. I don't go crazy on the first touchdowns. No, if I'm doing that, I'm calling the hotline. I'm not that much of a degenerate.
You're calling the hotline. You have to click not fit to play on the app.
Yes.
Which I guess I just want to ask for any of the listeners: has anybody, or do they know anybody who's ever clicked not fit to play? I would just love to be there to be like someone like, I'm ready to make this Colby Parkinson first touchdown. You know what? Not ready. Never mind. Don't think that happens.
I don't. If it happens, it rarely happens. But the way I look at it with that is just a general, like, you know, hey, maybe someone out there does it by accident, and then they go back in, and it's like, oh, hey, no, I meant to press. Yes, I am fit to play. But for this game, though, I'm gonna pick Seattle to win, just because, you know, the wins at I feel like this is the kind of game that they have to have, and I feel like this is a game they're gonna get. It's gonna be a close one, but for you and I, the common football fan, it's gonna be a fun one.
I think so, and like huge NFC seeding implications. Like the NFC, there's going to be a couple really good teams that don't make the playoffs in the NFC.
I think you could get as many as 3.
I think you're right. I got here Seattle 1.5 point home favorites, which means it's a wash, and 42.5 over under. 42.5. I know it's Thursday and the weird stuff can happen, but I don't know. I kind of like the over on that.
42.5 I like, because this game could easily be like a 23-20 football game.
Yeah, like at least. Like it wouldn't surprise me if we're hitting high 20s for both. High to mid, you know, like little Thursday night fun.
This Rams team they played Detroit on Sunday, and they allowed 34 points, and then Seattle, who did Seattle play last week? Seattle played the Colts, and they only scored on field goals, so you know their guys are going to be wanting getting into the end zone.
Well, yeah, and is this the time of year, like we saw this time last year with Sam Darnold, where he starts to turn pumpkin, right? This time exactly last year, we started to see the decline of Sam Darnold. He's had a very nice season, but boy, man, let's just say if you're in your fantasy playoff, I'm not saying you don't play Sam Darnold. I'm just saying I'd be worried to play Sam Darnold.
It's like a huff and I'm going to take another gambling reference. It's like the favorite slot game, huff and puff. You know, you kind of just like you breathe in and out, you huff and puff. You're like breathing a little heavy, watching them make those throws and hoping to God that it doesn't screw you over.
That's it. And the thing is, there's nothing really pointing to not playing, right? Like he's declined a bit, but there's nothing really like it's just a gut I have. I'm like, I don't know.
And then, so we move on now. By the way, this coming Saturday, we have a full day of football. We have 3 college football games as a part of the college football playoff and 2 NFL games. And I have nothing really to say about this game because I know Philadelphia should steamroll the Commanders. This one kind of screams like a Saquon Barkley getting people to the finals kind of game, you know?
And 5 o'clock Eastern start, which is an odd start time.
We haven't seen those since COVID.
Weird. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Road dogs, division game. I think this is a game where the Eagles again try to get back on track and get playoff ready. So I do think they'll come out strong. Barkley could have a big day. 940 rushing yards on the year. He wants to be hitting that 1,000 as soon as possible.
Exactly, because they play the Bills next week too, which I think is a huge game for fantasy implications as well as just overall playoff implications as well for both teams, because you have 2 teams that are kind of teetering right now on that. I think they're both going to get in because of the results, but like two teams where it's like if you lose that game, it could be the difference between, and I know Philadelphia can wrap up the division this week, but by then too, it's, hey, are they going to be playing starters? Are they not going to be playing that? Are they going to be like, taking their foot off the gas? So I think this is a real full throttle, foot on the gas kind of game for the Eagles, to where, you start to see that those production levels come from like a Saquon Barkley. And then for the defense, I mean, they only allowed Vegas to get 75 yards of total offense last week. So we'll see.
I might take the under, Griff. I might take the under 44.5. Like I could see Eagles winning this thing like 28-6 or something. Like
I could even see like a 21-10.
Right? Like this doesn't scream like a high scoring game from the Commanders.
Not at all. But that's a game I'm not even excited for, man. Saturday night, you got Green Bay, you got Chicago, you got a blood rivalry under the primetime lights in Soldier Field.
Yeah.
And with the news of Luther Burden being out, I would probably, and if you're invested in DJ Moore, I think you're going to be a happy camper come Saturday night. He's really turning it on.
Yep.
And unfortunately, you saw a lot of that on Sunday afternoon. But
sure did. Yeah.
With the injuries to Green Bay, it just kind of seems like, unfortunate timing, just like that steep decline to where you also have to worry about the two-headed monster at running back toward 2026. I would say you try to stack those two, but I don't think you're going to be able to. I think people are going to – Swift's going to go high, and then Monungai is going to be that guy that kind of gets swept, where it's like, hey, I can get Swift in like round 2 or 3. I can get Monungai in like 6, 7, or 8, but then Monungai might be gone by 4 or 5.
He might. And when you look at Green Bay, my eyes go to the wide receiver position where Christian Watson, I'm just looking now, still questionable with chest and shoulder. And what scares me about that, you can put the flak jacket on, but you get one hit in cold Chicago at night. That could get ugly. Jayden Reed, I think, is a must start for your fantasy team here.
Absolutely. So I'll look up the weather for Chicago because I know we finally are experiencing mildish weather in Ontario, but I know last Sunday in Chicago apparently was like freezing beyond freezing cold.
Oh yeah, it was like the equivalent with wind chill. It was like I heard the equivalent of like minus 25 Celsius. It was like minus 8 or 9 or 10 Fahrenheit, whatever that equals. I got 35 in Chicago.
Yeah, I got 35 and cloudy as well. The over-under for this game, I don't know where it's standing right now. Oh, yes, I do. It's 46.5. I feel like
I got too.
That's a number I would avoid, but I'm going with the same logic here as Seattle, to where Chicago needs this win because they don't want to be little brother anymore. You know how it feels like when you guys walked, like 2020 when you walked into Pittsburgh and won that wild card game. This kind of feels like that, where there's a chance for them to get that Green Bay monkey off their back, to where it's like, hey, we allow Green Bay to come into our building and beat us with their injuries. People aren't going to take the Bears seriously. Bears win this game, they're going to get some more national attention, to where it's kind of like, hey, look at Chicago. But I think the main objective for them is to play a full 60.
That's just it. Can they play the full 60? Certainly got the tools to. The defense, still there's next to no pass rush. And that's an issue. But the Packers banged up. You get Micah Parsons. You're missing another guy on defense. Like, I don't know. Packers 1.5. I think I would take the Bears at home. Take some. I don't know if it's plus money or not for Bears to win either straight up or cover that 1.5.
It's like tonight. It's a wash.
Really?
Yeah, they're both minus 110.
Ugh. That's not too interesting.
Like the Seahawks tonight are a slight minus 125, and the Rams are plus 105.
I'd say give me like maybe a little sprinkle on Jayden Reed anytime tutty. That might be a nice play.
That might be the way to go. I'm just going to see quick. Let's see player props. No, that's not it. Touchdown scores right here. Jayden Reed plus 180.
Yeah, not bad.
But to my point earlier, though, if I'm looking at the Bears, I'm looking at for a long shot for anytime tutty. I'm not going to try to pronounce his first name, but Zacchaeus plus 250. DJ Moore's the favorite at plus 120.
Ooh, that's spicy. Again, you put a loony or toonie on it, a little special there, maybe.
Exactly. Well, nice little Saturday night surprise.
Right? Not bad. Okay.
Tampa Bay and Carolina in the who wants to lose this more game, because both teams have just been kind of yucky, but I will say this because
Come on, Baker.
there are two players on both teams that I've invested in fantasy who I think you should draft next year because I saw one person say not to. That's being Bucky Irving. I still think he's a very good commodity. I think he was just dealing with a lot of injuries this year.
Me too.
But for the Carolina side of things, Tet McMillan's just been what we thought he was going to be. He is awesome.
Oh.
He gets open. He's a big body receiver, and the future is bright for him in Carolina, especially too for fantasy football owners.
Has to stay healthy. But yes, I totally agree. I totally agree on both those guys. I think you can roll back with Baker as well. Be interesting to see. I'm certainly not going to draft him, but be interesting to see what the nice fantasy finish to the year that Bryce Young has been having if he gets drafted a little higher than usual instead of being undrafted in most leagues.
I still think he's going to be a QB2 in a lot of leagues. For if you're in those leagues, I think he's not quarterback one material just yet. But I do think he's going to be he'll be a great backup. Or if you're in like the YWC Football Talk League and you're in a super flex league, I have him as my QB2 in there, and I have zero problems with him in that position.
Yeah, he's shown enough to do it. Yeah.
For this game though, like I want to say Tampa, but like they really disappointed me last week at the minus 4.5, just blowing it late.
Yeah. This is a big collapse by Tampa Bay. Big collapse.
And then the Panthers didn't have their A game against the Saints coming off the bye to where it's just really I don't know where to go with this one. I'm not putting my money in my mouth with this game. I'm just gonna say I'm really gonna roll with Carolina because I know they're the better team at home. And for Tampa, it just kind of seems like that defense has more problems than they want to admit. But at the same time, too, when number 13's on the field, anything's possible for the Buccaneers. He looked incredible last Thursday.
Yeah, and I'll say Buccaneers win it. Probably straight up. I'm not sure if the odds -3, if there's any significant difference in payout for -3 to the spread compared to the money line.
It's -130 to -160 on the sport book I'm looking on. So I think if you're really going to take it, I feel like I'm comfortable with -2.5. I would not be. I'm just saying Carolina just to like make a pick. I could see this game going either way. But
yeah,
I would take -2.5 just because this does really feel like a field goal game.
Yeah, and if it's not, like I'm seeing -3 right now. If it's not, then just straight up money line.
Minnesota and the New York Giants. I'm going to have a take right now. This is one of the takes I had from earlier. I do think Cam Scatterbo is turned out to be one of those day one draft and ready to go rookies. So unfortunately, his ankle bone decided to pop through his skin, and he's done for the year. Where next year, I'm not saying round one because I think there are running backs that are better than him, but he's definitely your solid RB2 option for fantasy or late RB1. You know, where if
with
you want
upside,
there's tremendous upside there. But with the Vikings, isn't it wild to think there's a world where Justin Jefferson's probably not going to be a top 5 fantasy pick next year?
And I don't understand this. How is JJ McCarthy putting up 20+ fantasy points and Justin Jefferson is getting 2 catches a game? I don't understand. I hate it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I don't like JJ McCarthy. And I don't like what he's doing to Justin Jefferson. Talent-wise, for my money, the best receiver in football.
Oh, absolutely. Like best receiver in football. They got to find a way to get their chemistry in line and sync. They got to find a way to just make those things work. Because for Justin Jefferson, I'm not saying he's going to fall down drastically, but like when you look at the receivers you would draft ahead of him, like you're looking at like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah. Jamar Chase, even with their situations down, I'm blanking on the highway name in Cincinnati from Cleveland. But, you know, I would probably think Jamar Chase is still there.
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb. You know, there's a lot of guys. I only named 3, but even that's still there's 3 guys right there that you can think of. Even another one too, Drake London, who's been dealing with injury lately, but it's been pretty consistent fantasy wise.
It could get some nice value on Justin Jefferson next year. I'm just curious what they do at quarterback. Do they put someone to challenge JJ McCarthy? I don't think he's done enough to be guaranteed and handed the job.
They bring in a vet in practice. They bring in a vet, not practice, excuse me. I think they're going to bring in a vet to challenge him. And then it's either, hey, you know what, JJ like loses out the job, or he basically the vet plays until the vet sucks. Kind of like what happened with the old Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix situation in Atlanta the past year. That's what I think.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, I take that. Just someone get Jefferson the ball, please. That's all I want.
Yeah, even too. You have TJ Hawkinson, you have Jordan Addison, you have Aaron Jones. You have this plethora of weapons. You have this defense who's ready to go, but because of the quarterback play, you're not going to make the playoffs. You're sitting at home.
Oh, weird.
So I saw a funny quote today from a football podcast where they were talking about obviously Tua's not playing the rest of the year for Miami. And
Gross.
someone said, and someone was like, and then Cleveland's name was obviously thrown into the mix of where he could go. And basically the response was,
Tua?
yeah,
Get out.
here's the thing though. Oh, the ball's going to turn into a boomerang where he just throws it and it comes right back to him because of the win in Cleveland.
Tua. Yeah, he mid, man. And for those AEW wrestling fans, MJF returning, mid is Tua. Mid. And the thing is, they've won too many games late to be in any sort of contest for a quarterback this year. They're 6-8. Quinn Ewers sucks.
You beat
He's
them.
bad. So you're gonna lose your last 2 games. Okay. What's that get you? Picking the teens?
Yeah, they're going to finish.
Okay.
They're 6-8 right now. They'll probably finish, I think, 7-10.
I don't think you win a game with Quinn Ewers. I don't think you win a game at all.
I'm saying 7-10, like best worst case scenario. Realistically, they're probably going to finish 6-11. You have that like teens draft pick. I think they're just kind of waiting to see, like, hey, can we start the year with Quinn, or do we need to go get a new quarterback? Or
they'll need to get a new quarterback. I'm telling you, Quinn Ewers is hot garbage, and it derails any hope outside. And you know what? In fairness, you probably were only counting on Achane at this point for the Dolphins on your fantasy team anyway.
Yeah.
But you put Ewers in, it just totally derails any confidence in any receiver. You can't do it.
No, you can't. But we'll get to that game in a second because the next one I actually have here is your boys, the Cleveland Browns, taking on the Bills.
Oh, boy.
I think for this game for Cleveland, it I don't know what the weather's going to be like Sunday, but this seems like kind of those like ugly, muck it up kind of football games to where we'll see what happens. They're not that they're confusing, but I'm just interested to see where does this go in the off season? Because I know, and obviously, and I'll say this too, I would love for Miles to get the record against Josh Allen. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Man.
At home, 27 Fahrenheit, by the way, in Cleveland, so below freezing, overcast. Just looks like, it's going to be a gray, cold, miserable day.
I'm going to say Buffalo does get the win. It's just the matter of do they cover or not. The cover line right now is -10.5, and it's kind of close where Cleveland's a slight favorite to actually cover the number, and the over-under is 41.5. I probably would go under the number, but yeah. And also, I just want to go back to the game we are talking about earlier. For my parlay that I do, I think Minnesota -2.5 is going to be my first leg. I do think the Vikings win this game by more than a field goal. I think they kind of put their foot down. New York's kind of in that like, we just want to get to the offseason healthy, pack the U-Hauls, get us to Cancun kind of team.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 Cancun, right? That's it. Yeah. That's it. I'm with you on that one. I think the Browns could cover this game. I think you could cover the 10.5. I think there's some more interesting plays for anytime touchdowns. You want to put one on Harold Fannin Jr., who's been targeted at 14 targets last week from Shedeur Sanders. Your usual suspects for Buffalo, James Cook, Josh Allen type of thing. Those would be mine. I'm with you, though. The only thing I'm interested as a Browns fan to watch in these remaining Cleveland games, Myles Garrett getting the sack record in 16 games, hopefully Sunday. And can I keep seeing progression from Shedeur Sanders? Does he show me enough to be comfortable with having him be the quarterback next year and using the 2 first-round draft picks I have, not to move up to try to get a quarterback, but to stay put and fill out the glaring needs on offensive line and wide receiver?
Yeah, because the only teams I look at for next year to where I'm like, hey, definitely go for the ones that I'm like definitely right now are probably gonna be in the quarterback conversation anyway. Like if you look at the bottom teams, like the Giants aren't, the Titans aren't. We'll see if the Browns are, but the only real bottom feeder teams that are definitely going to be, I would say, Vegas, Arizona, the Jets. So it's more or less like, hey, those teams. But then here's the thing, though. I think you're going to see some like goofy trades because outside of Fernando, the quarterback class really is not that strong.
No. Dante Moore is a nice quarterback. I wouldn't be mortgaging the farm for him. I like him. I love Fernando Mendoza, and I think the Jets are going to get him because, remember, they have like 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years and multiples in other rounds. Whoever finishes first overall, Jets can just go get it straight up.
That's the thing. You just got to kind of look at it from there. Next game's a great one. I'm going to add my parlay too. I think the Chargers take care of business against the Dallas Cowboys because Dallas is just, it's one of those games where, like, I'll say this right now, and I'm comfortable saying this. I really think the Chargers are that one team you don't want to play in January. I think they're playing hardball football. And hardball football has gotten teams to Super Bowls before and a national championship.
I'm confused why the Cowboys are 2.5-point favorites.
I think it's just the home. I think everyone's just the sports books do this where they're like kind of trying to bait you. I think they're trying to bait you.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are going to get the win. Oh, the Chargers this, the Chargers that. But if you look at what the Chargers did against the Eagles and the Chiefs, those are games they could have lost that they won. They beat two really good. Well, one good team and one team who it's the end of the road for them for this year. But the Chargers are kind of that, like, they're on a war path of destruction right now going to the playoffs, and they also have two really hard games to close the year with Houston and Denver week 18, which that Denver game, Denver falters down the stretch. That could be for the division for all we know, because the Chargers only have 4 losses, and the Chargers are 5-0 in the AFC West this year.
Wow. That's wild. Chiefs eliminated last week, which is still crazy to think, but yeah, I would take the Chargers straight up here, man. Whatever you're getting the better line on, whether it's money line or to cover 2.5, I'd do that.
It's an absolute straight value play. Like the next one here, you have Cincinnati versus Miami. Like, Cincinnati's in that same situation too, where it's like, I don't know what to think of them. I think there's one more year, and that drum for number 9 to leave is going to get a lot louder. I really, really do. I still think he's going to go. And also I think this too. I think there's a chance Zach Taylor stays just because it's up to. I think at this point they're going to go to Burrow. Kind of like, hey, what do you want us to do? Do you want Zach here? And also, we all know. Well, most football fans know this. I'm pretty sure you know this too. That they have one of the cheapest owners in football.
Yeah, I was going to say, yep.
To
Mike
where
Brown.
He's not going to pay someone to sit at home, and I'm pretty sure Taylor has his contract for next year already. So
he does. He's got one more year left.
I'm pretty sure next year is going to be a huge make or break year to where the Bengals either improve or they burn it to the ground. And I think they're going to get a couple like of these like slimy wins to end the year. Like they play this week against Miami. I don't know who they play next week, but then they play Cleveland week 18 to where they win like a couple of those games. And then for the love of God, just try to do something to improve your roster for 2026. I'm just going to quickly look up who they play next week. They play the Arizona Cardinals, so they do have quite a stretch of winnable down the stretch. But at the same time, too, for as much as they could win a game, they very well could lose these games too.
I would say I'm taking the under in this 47.5. I don't think either of these teams want to be playing right now. You got Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers is scoring you in the 20s? I don't think so. And Joe Burrow just seems uninterested. He's pouting. You get shut out with that with those receivers. You get shut out. Unacceptable. Where's the 47.5 points coming from? I think that is a smash underplay. And that would be my main bet on that game.
Saints and Jets in another yucky matchup. But I'm ready to say this. I think out of all the teams that are in last right now, it wouldn't be crazy to me if the Saints were if you look at all the last place teams, I think they're the ones who, like, you could say most likely to go from worst to first just because of the division they play in and the fact too that they're looking like a competent football team the last couple weeks. You go into Tampa, you beat the Bucs, you play the Panthers, who are supposed to be this almighty up and coming team, and you hold them to 17 points. I think the Saints, I'm not saying they're going to be great and they're back and everything, but like if I had to pick one of the teams that is in last place right now to go to first place, they kind of have the Michael's secret stuff from Space Jam to where Kellen Moore's going to get them playing right. Like, they don't have the prettiest roster on paper, but they're playing hard for their coach, and in December you kind of want to see that.
I'll tell you, Tyler Shuck.
The Jets suck too. The Jets are just drafting it. They're mailing it in.
They're terrible. Tyler Shuck, fantasy wise, don't look now. Last 3 weeks in a row, this guy's 18 plus fantasy points and has gone over 20 once as well, and went over 18 again in week 10 before their bye. Very quietly, Tyler Shuck is proving fantasy relevant. Where if you're in a pinch, only 11% roster. Like if you lost Pat Mahomes and you're looking around, you're like, uh-oh. You want to go Brady Cook if he plays for the Jets? Absolutely not. You don't want Quinn Ewers. Tyler Shuck, I think, would be a heck of a play if you're in desperation mode.
Yes. Also, quick little note about tonight's game. It is going to be a weather game. So I think I would avoid that over 42. I would avoid the number of 42.5. You may want to invest in some Kenneth Walker tonight, little K9, or even maybe Blake Corum or Kyron. I would go Blake Corum just because Kyron Williams. The numbers aren't high.
Oh, is it going to be
But
rain? I don't see rain. Okay,
I just
there
saw
we
a
go.
report online that hey, it's a little wet in the Pacific Northwest tonight.
Okay, 51 Fahrenheit. I see. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, with the Saints though, they're that kind of team that like they always are going to find a way. I feel like I don't know who they play next week, but I know they play. Who do they play? They play the Jets this week. I think they finished with the Falcons, who are just yuck. And then the week I'm gonna look up for week 17 just because it's gonna bite me inside. Then week 17 they go to Tennessee, so they're in the same boat as the Bengals where they can kind of like hey they're I know they're 4-10, but they can kind of like nab off some wins. Tyler Shuck also too 6 touchdowns on the year and 1484, so there's a good chance he throws for over 2K yards this year in the small sample size they have with him.
Yeah, man. I would play Shuck. I would. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just one of those things I look at with that team where I'm just like, hey, if you're in quarterback trouble, I would look at it where it's kind of like I wouldn't say like over a Sam Darnold, but like if you're in that situation where you're kind of like, hey, like I need to pick someone up as like a safety net, Tyler Shuck might be the guy you go for.
I might actually play with this weather situation. I might actually pick Shuck over Sam Darnold this week. How about that
Yeah,
for a hot take for you?
I like
I
that.
do it. I think I do it. In the dome, I can get a dome game against the Jets, or I can get a weather game against a really good LA Rams team. I think give me Shuck over Darnold fantasy wise straight up.
I'll take the Jets. I'll take the Saints in the dome. Thank you very
Wow.
much.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Kansas City. Obviously, the non-Patrick Mahomes led Kansas City Chiefs as he is out for the year with his torn ACL injury. Is this a crazy spot to think the Titans might actually get a win here?
Oh, depends if the team quits. That's still.
That's
I
the
just
thing,
don't.
though.
I want nothing to do with this game, to be honest with you. Gardner Minshew a quarter. I would leave this off your ticket. If you had to pick it, I'd still take the Chiefs, but I don't like it.
Press the fit not to play button if you bet this game.
Yes. If you're looking at this game, please press the not fit to play.
Yeah. Just do that. Press the damn button if you're thinking of betting on this one. Like there's nothing to it. There's nothing fun or exciting. I'm gonna say Kansas City just because. And next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals playing the Atlanta Falcons, and this is going to be a very interesting game because I'm going to dub this game. Loser's coach is probably getting fired. Like, there's a chance both these men are out, but I think whoever loses this game, their coach better put their, update their Indeed resume.
I think actually this is an actual pretty juicy fantasy game.
It is too.
With Jacoby Brissett, Michael Wilson, and Michael Carter. I think you can play all 3 guys. Jacoby Brissett's been an absolute sensation in fantasy. No one's talking about it. Guy's been money since week 7 without fail. Without fail since week 7, the guy's been absolute money. 69% rostered. If he's there, you play him. That guy's a QB1 this week, no doubt. And then Bam Knight's out. Michael Carter, you play him. And if Marvin Harrison isn't 100%, doesn't look like he is, I go Michael Wilson again. Michael Wilson's been really good when Harrison's been out.
And then with Atlanta, obviously, I'm not sure the status of Drake for this week, but you also have Darnell Mooney. Are we ready for Kyle Pitts to go to a new home next year and be this like either people are going to buy because everyone's going to think now like basically Kyle Pitts is going to end up on a team that's annoying like the Kansas City Chiefs and he's going to light the league on fire. Are we ready for that world?
I bet you Kyle Pitts lays a giant goose egg this week. Everyone's expecting it. I have
no
faith. Year. Oh, next year. I don't know, man. I've been burned too much by Kyle Pitts. I'm gonna have to see it to believe it. I'll err. I could see it happening. Don't get me wrong, but I have to see it to believe it. I'll err on trying to go in a different direction. If I can get him at a good value late round, then I will. But I'm not reaching for him.
No, neither am I. And then for Atlanta, though, the one thing I will say is, what a hell of a 1-2 punch at running back. If you're in a little bit of a running back snafu and you did not draft Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier has been a wonderful little pickup this year because he's that goal line merchant. He's the player that if you have him, you love him. But if you do not have him, it is very annoying because everyone's thinking those Bijan numbers are coming because when they're in short situations and they need a goal line touchdown, who gets thrown in the game? Tyler Algier.
Yep. And he keeps collecting, right? So he's there than your usual, your Bijan. That's about it. Like Kirk Cousins, I think could be if you're really missing out at the quarterback spot. I don't hate the play, but it's certainly not ideal, and you'd rather take a Shuck or Or Jacoby Brissett over him.
Yeah, but with Atlanta though, I like Kirk Cousins on the roster because with Michael Penix's history,
Yeah.
injury history. I found the new title for our show is going to go Saturday Surprise. But I'm going to go history injury. With that though, it's kind of it's a good security blanket to have for fantasy football as well, to where it's kind of like, hey, if Penix gets hurt or if he's not 100%, they can lean on Cousins. But with Algier for next year for fantasy football, I don't think he stays in Atlanta, and he's going to go somewhere else, and people are going to be like, you need to draft him. He's going to be awesome, and he's kind of the guy that lays kind of that, that new scenes may not be the best for him because he's like a great RB2, but I don't think he's an RB1.
Yeah, it could be sort of like a Tony Pollard situation, right? Where does he go? Does he get the chances of lead dog? It really depends on landing spot for him.
Exactly. And then with this game, I think Atlanta wins. I just think Arizona's a team that they need a new change of coach. They're going to get a new quarterback. And I think Kyler Murray's going to go somewhere where he can truly show his talents and shine. And then we'll just see what happens with Arizona with that whole staff. Just they've been around the league for over 100 years, but they've only had a coach go the longest there for 6 years, believe it or not.
Interesting. Oh, okay. I'll take Atlanta with you.
Yeah. Denver and Jacksonville. This is very intriguing for a multitude of reasons. One, you have Jacksonville. Brian Thomas Jr. is finally figuring it out. ETN's an awesome running back. Brenton Strange as well, I believe, is their tight end, who's pretty awesome. But with Denver, though, you have so many gems. You have Marvin Mims. You have Troy Franklin. You have RJ Harvey, who can run the ball. And you have Bo Nix as well.
And Sutton.
And Cortland Sutton. Exactly. You have an embarrassment of riches. You also have Evan Ingram there as well. And you have a great defense to where I think I'm finally ready to say it. I'm ready to drink the Kool-Aid on the Broncos, giddy up. I've always just said they're in that same, who have they beaten in last week, even with injuries? They took care of the Green Bay Packers. So I think the Broncos take care of business here because for as much as I just praised the Jags, they seem like they'll go as far as Trevor's going to take them. It's kind of like there's a bunch of players that are like that. You'll only go as far as your quarterback will let you go.
Yeah, and this is a very tough environment. It'll be a real test for the Jags. I would take the Broncos straight up. Give me money line.
I would too. Detroit Lions playing the Pittsburgh. What do you call them?
Squealers.
I am ready for a world where because this, I honestly think too, if whoever loses this game is not making the playoffs. They're both 8-6. I think a 7th loss is, especially in how competitive both conferences are, a loss by either side here is going to pretty much, I think, either eliminate you for the playoffs or borderline. It's going to be, hey, you need to do 1, 2, and 3, but you also need 4, 5, and 6 to happen. And for all those reasonings, I know Pittsburgh's looked good the last couple of weeks. I know they've looked fun. TJ Watt's been out. Cam Hayward tried to hit his celebration, but obviously he is much older. This is a game that the Detroit Lions have to have, and I don't think it's that often they lose back-to-back. So I really think at home in a raucous Ford Field, I think the Detroit Lions get the win here.
I wouldn't take them to cover that 7, but I would take them straight up as in the Lions. I'm with you. They lose this game. We talked about up to 3 good teams missing the playoffs in the NFC. Lions are going to be one of them if they lose this game. Steelers can still win the AFC North with how bad that division's played with an 8-7. But this is a must win for the Lions at home. Give me the Lions.
But are we ready for the week where Pittsburgh loses this week and the next week they kind of come in? I believe that game is in Cleveland next week, to where Cleveland's fans can kind of go home on a happy sentiment of truly knocking the Steelers out of the playoffs.
That would be that would be delightful. We'll see if that happens. But give me the Lions on them this week for sure.
Houston and Las Vegas. Only question I have for you in this game: do the Texans cover that number of 13.5 points? The one disgusting comment on this game, I looked it up. Their odds, the Raiders' odds to cover this game is in plus money. You're a bad football team when you're expected to lose by 2 touchdowns, and the books are betting against you. Give me the Texans winning their game outright.
Yeah. Betting wise, there's not much juice on this, man. There's not much. It's kind of like a stay away betting side. Like Raiders, the only guy you're going to play is Gianti and hope for the best. Texans, you got your Collins, you got your CJ Stroud. I think nice game for him. Running backs, I'm not impressed with the Texans and Texans D as well. Your fantasy, get him in there.
Dalton Schultz as well.
Yeah. He's been getting better.
Sunday Night Football. I'm going to let Andy say the first team, the Baltimore. What's your fun name for Baltimore there, buddy? Oh, I think we lost him.
Do you got me?
Yes, I have you. What do you call Baltimore?
Oh, I got Ratbirds.
Taking on the New England Patriots.
Oh, come on, Pats. Come on.
I really want them to get right, because Baltimore's this very weird team where if you look at them and how they've been this year, like I know they've started to look good, they've started to click, Lamar looks healthy. I think they're a team that when their season's over, if it doesn't end in success, and also too, Mark Andrews is on my do not draft list again for eternity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I'm done with it. Isaiah Likely is going to go somewhere and thrive, though. I think after the contract they gave Andrews, I do think Likely is probably going to be gone after this season, or it's likely that he'll be gone. Do you see what I did there?
Wordplay.
But no, this is a game I think the Patriots need to win, just because you shut the entire world up of the fraud allegations. I hate when that term gets thrown out for football games, where football teams where it's like, oh, this team's a fraud, they haven't beaten anyone, or oh, they did this, where it's just like you play who's in front of you, and if you win the games, you win the game. So like, for losing, and like a lot of people too are posting that like Homer meme where it's like him skinny and then all his fat's like tied up behind him, and it's showing all the bad opponents, and everyone's literally like, people. It's like the Patriots lost last Sunday, and they forgot that they split the season series with the Bills. I know the Bills are nipping at their heels, but I think this is the kind of game that in the primetime lights, Drake May can go out and show the world who he is and that the Patriots are a for real team. Because if they lose this game, that volume of that F word gets louder and louder, and that's not something I'm ready to deal with. So Patriots, please, for the love of God, win this game. You're the better team, and you're a road underdog.
You got Vrabel. You got Vrabel there. Give me Pats money line and over 48.5. That could be a fun little shootout with Lamar and Drake.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. And then Monday night, we have the Colts taking on the Colts and old man Phillip Rivers taking on the San Francisco 49ers, who are clicking at the 49ers. I'll say this too. They're my NFC. You do not want to play them at the right time. They are they're a quiet 10-4. The injuries, the offense, the defense, like they're getting contributions from guys you've never heard of before. George Kittle's back to being awesome. Christian McCaffrey's having an unbelievable season. Their only real question is just now is who's wide receiver, and also too, Brock Purdy's playing with a little bit of swagger. But for as much as I say this, though, they're like Jacksonville, though, to where Brock Purdy will only take them to where Brock Purdy's going to take them. I need to see it from him that, like, hey, how far is Brock Purdy willing to go? I do think the Niners win this game, because I do think you're going to get a bunch of people from a betting perspective that see, oh, Indy, look what they nearly did against Seattle last week in the Elements game. You get into a track meet with the front 49ers, you're going to get killed. And I think this is the kind of game where, the Colts like fever dream kind of comes back to reality. Although if they do win this game, it's going to be the narrative flipped on its head. But I trust San Francisco to take care of business and cover the 5.5.
As do I. Fun story with Phil Rivers, but Brock Purdy playing some consecutive games now hasn't been able to do that all year because of injury. I think they're getting right. So yeah, I'm with you. 49ers cover that 5.5. Get it done. Hopefully Phil Rivers plays respectively for himself, but otherwise, yeah, give me San Francisco.
Yeah, just I like I said, San Francisco's that team that, like with Kyle Shanahan and Rob Saleh, they're finding magic at the right time. And like I said, because that's the thing with football. There's a difference between the teams that have been playing good all year to the teams that are playing good at the right time. Playing good at the right time.
Yep. Look at Baker and the Bucks early in the year declined. Colts, same thing. Now injury got them, but same thing. Peaked too early, right? So
Packers, same thing.
Packers, same thing. You have those situations. 49ers getting hot at the right time, as are the Texans that we talked about.
Exactly. Of all the Texans started 3-5, and everyone was kind of like, "What's going on with CJ Stroud? He doesn't look right." You have all these teams playing hard at the right time to where it's going to be open season come January, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm very excited as playoff football comes and we get to watch all these glorious games. Before you know it, Andy and I will be doing the Degenerates Guide to the Super Bowl, a top 5 episode that I love to do every year.
Yeah,
and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Boy, man, that's gonna be a good one. Gonna be a fun week. Week 16. Looking forward to it, buddy.
16 weeks of football are here. We have 2 weeks left. For Andy McNamara of the Sick Browns podcast, I'm Griff Bordegon of YWC Football Talk. 414-414 in the bag. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy this week's football action as we get closer to the end of the season. And hey, hopefully we help you win your fantasy championship. Who knows?